So today was 24-hour Party City, our first in a series of Liverpool Business Week events looking at the visitor economy. Key points to come out of today. Firstly, better engagement between the licensing committees, the governing bodies of licensed premises and the venues themselves. Secondly, a greater coordination across the various marketing and cultural agencies that represent the sector, of which there are many. If we could get a greater coordination of the activity from those agencies, that would be a real positive. And finally, I think the point was made that where big sums of cash are being spent, are we actually getting value for money, and are we targeting the right audiences? So I think they were the key points to come out of the discussion this afternoon, and actually probably reinforce what our previous power panels have told us.
I focused on the two of the biggest issues for the constituency here, as it were, around the table today, which is business rates and the late night levy. One, of course, has a national overview with business rates, and then the late night levy is imposed on a local basis. We found that we're making inroads on both, we hope. I hope that I managed to bring the positives of the fact that there seems to be at least an appetite for reform of business rates.
A black and white paper on its way now to the combined authority, to the Mayor's office and to the local enterprise partnership. Feedback from them in the autumn, and hopefully some progress on at least some of those issues.
It was really interesting, yes, as ever. Lots of vocal opinions on things, but I think it was just a clear illustration that there's a lot going on in Liverpool at the moment. You know, it's quite exciting times with a variety of developments, from 10 Street, the new Everton Stadium, obviously what's going on at Liverpool Waters along the waterfront. And primarily I think the Knowledge Quarter is the really hot topic at the moment that everybody's talking about, and the huge announcement of RCP coming to Liverpool and the knock-on positive effect that's going to have going forward.
Yeah, I thought that the discussion today was really lively, really informative. I think we had some real heavyweight people around the table, people like Colin Sinclair, who really knew their stuff, and I think we really got into the nitty-gritty of some of the issues that are facing the city, you know, in terms of development, in terms of inward investment, in terms of the message that we give to the world. Certainly for the next few decades, transport connectivity and digital connectivity are the two big areas that we need government help on. You know, the statistics around us say, you know, the far more is spent on transport infrastructure in the southeast of England than is spent in the English regions. I think that balance needs to be redressed, and I think the priority needs to be maybe not HS2, Liverpool to London. The priority needs to be HS3, which is Liverpool to Manchester, to Leeds, to Hull, Newcastle. It needs to be across the country rather than down to London.
Downtown hosted this Brand Liverpool event, and it's been a really good sharing. I think Chris Brown from Marketing Liverpool is very realistic when he shaped the meeting and set the tone, and I think that encouraged people to be very open in their views. There's terrific enthusiasm, we've now just got to harness it. I always love coming to brand events in Liverpool because people are totally honest, and I think downtown fosters a culture of that where people share their views. I think the thing to remember about brands is we don't determine a brand, the audiences who are engaged determine a brand, and if Liverpool wants to look at how we get more business in, more investment, we have to look at what's important to those companies, and we have to start shaping our messages around what people want. We have to keep it simple, we have to keep it real, and we have to talk about how we're going to help businesses dream big. I think we also now, through all the things that happen with social media, I think we have to give businesses permission to fail and talk about it, because we're in an era of greater transparency, and Liverpool always puts its best face forward, and I think it's time just to be a little bit more open and to have conversations and to engage rather than just put messages out about the brand.
I think the most important message that we need to get across as a city, as a brand, is this idea of unity, is this idea that together, by having conversations with our peers, with fellow business owners within our own industry sectors, we can come together as a group, as a united voice, and then take those voices to someone like the Mayor, where we can start to shape those conversations and really start to, I guess, start to put into action some of the words that we're saying. When we're sitting around the table discussing it, the same points are coming up time and time again, but what progress are we making towards a resolution where everyone feels that they're really behind Liverpool as a brand, and that they understand what that brand means.
Great brands, great city brands are made up of the hard assets, which are the buildings and the infrastructures, and then it's made up of soft power things like the music scene, like the creative and digital scene. And I think it would be great to actually identify what the soft power assets are of Liverpool, and to get those businesses to come together with one voice, and then to use an organisation like Downtown to facilitate meetings with the city's leaders and decision makers. But there has to be greater consistency of narrative, there has to be a better strategic narrative for Liverpool. There is so much here that is amazing. We've just got to start talking about it in a consistent, coherent way.
I guess there are lots of conversations around, say, UNESCO, for example, and what that means to Liverpool as a city. I think there is a very polarised view on that, depending on what industry you're from or how it affects you. For us within the Baltic as a business there, UNESCO to us, I guess I don't really see the benefits of that. I see it as a label that we have as a city where we could be creating our own label. For other cities or other places around the world where UNESCO is really important and having that World Heritage status really drives tourism, I think that's important to them, to those specific places. To us as a city, I don't know, I think there's a little bit more debate that we could be having, a little bit more understanding of what that actually means.
So we are a pay-per-minute sitting room, meeting room, events and co-working space. We charge 8p a minute. We use as an alternative to a coffee house or a cafe or a business lounge. So everything's free, so they pay 8p a minute, and teas, coffees, biscuits, fruit, cereal, toast, cake is all unlimited, all self-serve. We're keen on supporting more events like Downtown's sort of events, because it creates more of a cohesion between the private sector within the city, and these voices can be heard in conversations like with Brand Liverpool, where we're talking directly to public sector organisations and explaining, you know, how we want to take the city forward. And in all fairness, Chris from Liverpool Vision has obviously listened to everything that was said, and for Zifferblatt specifically, yeah, for us and for the rest of the city, it's so important to be conscious of how this brand is seen elsewhere, and how we're being perceived by the rest of the world, because that will attract new talent, new business, new visitors, which will, you know, grow Liverpool as a place.